To this breakout session, we will learn how we can detect, investigate, and respond using Azure ATP to threats in the wild. My name is Tali Ash. I'm from the product team of Azure ATP.
Thanks, Tali, and my name is Eyal Manor, and I'm from the product team of Azure ATP as well. Tali and I have been working for the last couple of years, we and many other people all over our organization, to make Azure ATP as a very good platform for you for detect and prevent and investigate identity-based attacks. So first, I'm very excited to see everybody here. Thank you for coming. Who's using Azure ATP today? Boy, whoa! This is so amazing. You know, last year it was like 1/3 of that. 2 years ago, the product even didn't exist. So we really appreciate your experience. And this also means that we can maybe make a lot of our content maybe a few levels higher, since all of you, or most of you here, are having so much experience with Azure ATP. But we'll go a bit back and start with some of the basics, since the digital transformation is here. And we've all, probably all of us, I'm not even going to ask you, have shifted resources and services and users into the cloud to enable mobility and business continuity. And this is so great for us to love the hybrid environments. They are helpful and they are optimized and they are beneficial, but the attackers do love the hybrid environments as well, because it means more opportunities for them to try and understand what we are doing and how to infiltrate into organizations. So talking about hybrid organizations, what normally the attackers will be doing, we've been seeing that again and again over the past couple of years. They will start with the weak spot. They will start with maybe infiltrating through a cloud asset, which is maybe a bit more open. They will try to look at a user, which is easier. Let's try to look for a user that doesn't have multi-factor authentication. So that will be the easiest. So a user without MFA, cloud service, maybe let's think about Office. That will be a relatively easier part to infiltrate into the organization. Compromise one account, it is what they need, and they start looking at your mail and OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online, and they can get persistency over there. For example, by creating inbox rules or forwarding rules, they're taking all of the inbox incoming emails that you are getting and just forward them to a drop zone in the internet. And this is nice, but from the attacker perspective, they are also a bit, they are in the boundary of one user, of just a couple of cloud applications. They are all the time trying to understand how they can jump from the cloud into the on-prem. And then they can do it by compromising your VPN credentials, because they found them in your OneDrive for Business, for example. Or they can also just find what we call a jump box, this piece of server that has a leg to the internet, a leg to the on-prem, and that's it. Once those attackers are in the on-prem area, they can start move laterally, look for doing some reconnaissance activities, some discovery, to compromise other users, to jump to other users, to look for those users who have more privileges or better access to more interesting servers that have more like high-value assets, and from there exploiting those people who have admin rights and take control of the entire organization. The path is not that long, and it happens. And think about us, the users, the identities. It's not just that people say that identities are the new perimeter, because we are holding it all. We are holding the access to those resources in the cloud and in the on-prem, and we're doing that from managed devices, from unmanaged devices, and it's enough to compromise one user in the business, not more than that. Compromise one user, and the way from the first user to the 100,000th users is not that long. So we're here to help you with that. And when talking about the Microsoft Threat Protection solutions, you can see that we are spanning all the way from the left, from the phishing mails and from infiltration into the devices, where our Office 365 ATP and Microsoft Defender ATP help you protect from phishing attempts and from malicious documents that are getting to your Office 365 and OneDrive for Business elements. And Defender ATP is helping, identifying, and preventing and protecting from running any threat on Mac and Linux and, of course, Windows devices. and continue all the way to our identity threat protection offering, the Azure AD Identity Protection and Cloud App Security, who are detecting identity-based threats in the cloud, and all the way to Azure ATP, our topic of discussions probably today, that is help identifying and protecting from identity-based attacks in the on-premises. So we're having some 40-something minutes today to talk mostly about Azure ATP, but not just about Azure ATP. We are going also to talk about how Azure ATP, together with Cloud App Security and Azure AD Identity Protection, providing you an excellent threat protection solution for identities across what we call the hybrid organization. It's a short session. Tali and I are going to try to run very fast. We really, really hope to have the time to get questions from you. So we'll try to get questions here and there after some of the demonstrations. If you have them, think about them already. If no, after the session, feel free to come by and we'll take more questions. So Azure ATP is all about, like any other threat protection solution, about prevention, detection, investigation, and response. You're going to see many things that we've been working on Azure ATP over the last year and introducing them today. Let's start with Prevent, a brand new concept that we are bringing from the Microsoft Secure Score and from many in the industry into Azure ATP today. So think about, as we are sitting on those domain controllers and looking at all of this traffic and learning the users and understanding what they are doing, now we can also understand what is not optimized in your on-premises user and protocol configuration. Where do you guys, and where do you people, having gaps in your configuration that may be an opportunity for the attackers to just exploit and get into your organization better? Let's take a look at some 3 examples that we're having here on top of mind. Example number 1, clear text authentication. Think about all of your applications that are authenticating using LDAP. It means that we're having in the organization's users, devices, and other elements that are authenticating in clear text. It's enough for the attacker to just sit at the network and they don't need to do anymore. They can sit back and relax and collect those username and passwords. So this is a great opportunity for password exposure. Think also about some delegation rights. Delegation rights is something which is super important for us to operate our on-prem environment. Many times I would like to have a service, for example. Let's say that I have a user working in front of a web front-end interface, and this front-end interface needs to delegate my rights in order to get to the back-end systems, for example, to storage, to do some queries on my behalf. So delegations are good and are important, but there is the least secure type of those delegations called unconstrained delegations. And unconstrained delegations are interesting for the attackers because if a specific device has the rights for unconstrained delegations, guess what? It means that every user in the organization that logs into this device is actually having the ability for this device to delegate on their own rights. So think about this device who are taking control of that device. Let's say that 500 users have logged into the device. I have 500 tickets for people that I can log in and do activities on their device. So this is a good experience for rogue impersonation at our organization. We're having so many examples, but so less time. So just one more example is about legacy authentication in use. Think about all of your applications that have been developed 5, 10, 12, 15 years ago, and maybe using weaker protocols such as NTLM-v1, or weaker encryption protocols such as RC4. These are, at the end of the day, a good recipe for elements that are easier to attack because they're having, at the end of the day, more vulnerabilities. They are not up to date as any other protocol that we're having in the network. And for that today, we're introducing and would like you, everybody here who is using Azure ATP already, to experience our identity security posture assessments. They are a part, or almost a part, of our Secure Score, of our Microsoft Secure Score. And what you can see is that we are coming up today, already in general availability, starting today, 6 different assessments that each and every one of you can see, starting from clear text authentication all the way to dormant accounts in sensitive groups, and we are going to see a bit more. We're not stopping here. Think about that as the bare start for us to work with security assessments. Just around the corner, we're having labs configuration, and we're talking about ability to expose and to mitigate lateral movement path, to look at how much Azure ATP is covering your domain controllers, later with some CD story elements, and more and more and more. By the time runs, we'll be there with 1,015 and more security assessments in order to make sure that you have the ability to understand your weak spots and know how you can fix these. So this is just a nice example about what we call top entities who are exposing credentials over clear text authentication, over LDAP clear text authentication. Now, what you can see here is that we put a lot of thought into how to present this information for you. Think about how it would be easy for us to just come and say, hey, you're having NTLM authentication or LDAP authentication just turned on, go and turn it off, and that's it. This is nice, and this is smart, but it's not really effective, because maybe if you think that it is effective, you'll go to your security console, you will turn off this LDAP authentications, and what happens is that 3 hours after that, you'll have like a line of 1,000 business application developers who will tell you, hey guys, what have you done? You killed my business. Bring it back to life. So this is not what we're doing, because it doesn't work. What we'll be doing is that we'll give you the ability to understand who are the top potential entities that are in risk. So we can see here this nice trend, and below the trend there is an ability to just enumerate all of those devices, all of those users who are authenticating in clear text by the volume of how much or how much traffic is exposing them. A bit later by their sensitivity, which means how much they are important or like impactful as the business. And starting then, we give you tools to understand it better. So you can click those 3 dots over there at the right corner of the line and investigate and actually start hunting through all of the activities in clear text credentials that you have done. You can start mapping those applications, understanding what happened, start contacting those application owners, and slowly but surely just reducing the attack surface. So this is just a part of that. Very, very soon, in the upcoming very small number of months, everything that you can see here in our identity security posture management is going to be fully integrated and natively available as a part of the Microsoft 365 Identity Secure Score. How many of you use Secure Score? This is amazing. This is just amazing. I'm just going to ask more and more about that. And if you're using Secure Score, then the Identity Secure Score that today is being fed by Azure AD Identity Protection and provides you visibility to what you can do better in Azure AD is now going to be added into the Azure ATP Insights. So Tali, let's take a look at how it works and get some more information on that, and if you'll have also time to get some answers on that, some questions on that.
Thanks, Eyal. So here you can see Azure ATP Security Assessments reports inside Cloud App Security. And it's not a mistake. All Azure ATP data is available today in Cloud App Security. I will give you more details about it later. This is the main section of the security assessments. You can see here the different reports, and for each report you can see the improvement action you should take, the number of related entities, what is this report about, what is the urgency of the report. It can be high or low. How important is for you to fix this misconfiguration today, and what is the resolution status. As you can see, we are giving you here a full view of what is not working well, which misconfiguration you should improve, and what is currently healthy in the organization. But if something right now is completed, it doesn't mean that tomorrow it will be completed as well, because these reports are dynamic. So we warmly recommend you, the security admins, to come into the Azure ATP Security Assessments page from time to time and insert it to your security assessments mitigation workflow of the entire organization. So let's look at some examples. We already shared with you the clear text authentication So let's see what we have in the unsecure Kerberos delegation. As Eyal mentioned, unsecure Kerberos delegation is a configuration inside Active Directory. Here you will get a list of all the entities which have unsecure Kerberos delegation. And you can see the delegation type. It is unconstrained. If we will look at the second device, for example, that has unconstrained Kerberos delegation permissions, it means that once someone is compromising the RDP server, they can impersonate to all the accounts that logged into the RDP server, and they can access resources on behalf of these accounts. If, for example, your domain admin will be logged into the RDP server, the attacker can get access to your sensitive data right away. If you would like to understand more about the reports, you can click on this link, and you will be directed to our documentation. Here you will find more information about what is Kerberos delegation, what is the configuration we are looking at, which risk it poses to your organization, and how you should investigate this security assessment and which remediation actions you should take. Let's look at another example. We'll go back to the main section. And let's look at the last one. Dormant entities in sensitive groups. A dormant entity is an account that is inactive for more than 180 days in your organization, or it is disabled or expired in Active Directory. Sensitive groups are groups that Azure ATP automatically tag as sensitive because they have high privileges in your organization. In addition, you can tag sensitive groups manually. So this report will list you all the different entities that are inactive, but still members of group that are sensitive. So each account in this list can still get to your sensitive data in your organization. This is gold for attackers. Attackers are looking for such account. They can use this account out of your radar. It is a very easy and quick way into your organization and into your sensitive data. So now let's assume that you understand the risk and you would like to remove these accounts from being members of these sensitive groups because they don't need these sensitive permissions anymore. So you would like to take this list and open a ticket for the relevant team that is in charge of group memberships and ask them to remove them. You can easily do it because we have here an export option. All this report will be exported to a CSV file, so you can attach it to the relevant team in a ServiceNow ticket, for example, and just use this report as part of your workflow in the organization. Let's see what we have more.
Actually, thank you, Tali, very much. And we're having just a couple of minutes if there are any 1, 2, 3 questions from the audience about what we are doing in Secure Score. First, I really hope that you like it. We're really, really excited about it. Is there any question about it from somebody? Yes, please. The question is whether you want to check back anytime whether there is something new. Automatic notifications. The question is about automatic notifications. So automatic notifications, when there is something new, is not a part of the offering that we have today. But anything in regards to workflows, experiences around secure assessments, we are now looking at that, understanding how our customers are using that. And this is absolutely one of the top 3 elements that you would like to do. So it will be either an alert or some connection to an automatic playbook orchestrator, such as Microsoft Flow, for example, in order to initiate. We still have not finalized exactly how we will be doing that, but this is absolutely one thing that we are looking at. So thank you for mentioning that. Yes, sir. So we'll just take one more question and move on. Yes, sir.
Talk for a moment about the integration, if any integration exists between these recommendations and scores and the ones in Azure Security Center.
Okay. The question, I will just repeat, the question is about integration of those scores in Azure Security Center. You refer to Azure Security Center, to CSPM, to Cloud Security Posture Management. So eventually, yes, we are talking a lot together about how Azure Security Center can aggregate and get many of those assessments into Azure Security Center. In fact, we are now thinking about how even we can aggregate our alerts into Azure Security Center in the context of specific subscriptions, and we'll be also looking at integrating those secure score. So this is absolutely something that we are looking at. So we'll continue a bit further, and we've been talking about our prevention. Again, brand new experience. We've been working on that throughout the year. Many of you here, by the way, participated the public preview and private preview milestones and helped us a lot understanding how it should look like, what the experience should look like, what we need to go after. So really, I would like to personally thank each and everyone in this room that was helping us. And let's switch to detections. And when I talk about detections, first I have to tell, also on behalf of Tali and me, we're so excited. We've been sitting here in our booth, the Azure ATP stand, over the last couple of days. And every few minutes, somebody from this room or not in this room is coming and telling us how Azure ATP was detecting real good activities, whether they are coming from blue teams or from attackers or from vendors who were hired to attack the organizations, or actually uncovering real attacks of your organizations. And every time we're so happy to hear that. And the reason you're saying that, the reason you put trust in Azure ATP to identify those identity-based threats is the Azure ATP technologies. So Azure ATP is not based on, let's look at logs and correlate them, but it looks at the following technologies. So first, we need to understand Azure ATP runs network traffic analytics. It is a micro network traffic analytics solution. I'm saying micro because it's not running on the entire network, but it is focused and dedicated on the assets that you are looking after, which is your Active Directory servers. And it is parsing a large variety of protocols in order to understand how they look like, something that is not shown in the events. But if something is shown in the events, let's leverage them. So we're also learning a lot from the events and from those traces, following by doing a lot of behavioral analytics. So we learn eventually every user and every peer in the organization and every user in the organization and the entire organization, how they behave, how they are accessing to resources, and how they are working. And we are leveraging all of that in our cloud environment, which is scalable and gives us the ability to release an update on a weekly basis. And all of that combines the detections that we are doing in Azure ATP. So sometimes people are asking me, hey, so you have Azure Sentinel, or we are having our SIEM, our Splunk, your Radar, ArcSight, whatever. Can I just skip Azure ATP and get those events from the domain controllers and just correlate those past the ticket on my own? The answer is no, absolutely no, because it's only the combinations and the dedicated of the research security activities that you are having, which is binded on looking at compromised identities, is giving us the ability to bring the value that we bring. So Azure ATP covers a very nice span across the MITRE ATT&CK kill chain of compromising on-premises identities, starting with the discovery elements. Every time that somebody is trying to map our network to understand who are the user in the environment and what groups they belong to and who are sensitive and who are less, continue with brute forcing and trying to get credential access, continue with moving laterally from one computer to another user to another computer to another user until they actually gain persistence, which means that we got these users that are having highly privileged rights or getting domain controller persistency, and then attackers can actually do whatever they want in your business. Azure ATP identifies activities in each and every one of those elements. When you'll be working with Azure ATP, and this is something which is also absolutely new, you'll see two kind of elements of detections that we are giving. Alerts. Alerts are high fidelity evidences, high fidelity conclusions that Azure ATP brings from us to you, telling you that something is wrong. They may be based on signatures, such as DC Sync, for example, or they may be based on some behavior analytics, such as enumerations or other elements, and these will help us uncover many of those alerts that we can see here. We'll see a bit more on that. On the right side, you can see that Azure ATP also builds behavioral profile of identities as the organization and is bringing those low fidelity signals about activities that users are doing where we believe that the chances that this user is the one that was running this activity is very low, and we mark those activities as suspicious. The important thing and what makes it super interesting is that those small suspicious activities, they do not raise alerts. Because if they would have raised an alert, your SecOps organization would be blown up with a huge number of alerts that are not necessarily indicated that something bad is happening. But we will see that a large collection of those small, tiny, low fidelity evidence can actually be collected together into something big if we see that it happens many times on the context of the right users. Today we're talking more about alerts. I really invite you for our next session, BRK2127, which is going to happen a bit later, where again Tali and I are going to speak more about finding the needle in the haystack, thanks to those suspicious activities behavioral, and really how we are investigating for something bad within the hybrid organization. So we did some prevention. We did some awesome detection that each and every one of you come to us and tell us that it was in high quality and high fidelity and help you identifying the bad guys. What about investigation? So for years, since ATA and Azure ATP born, Azure ATP, by the way, is celebrating 2 years in March 2020, so it's more than 1.5 years since GA already. We've been giving you a console experience to see the alerts and to investigate user activities in the on-prem. But now, if you're going back to slide number 1, we understand that your organization is hybrid. And also we understand that attackers think hybrid. So when we investigate something, we need to think hybrid as well, right? It makes sense. So we don't want to give you like huge number of consoles. Let's shrink them and optimize them. And if Azure ATP looks at the on-prem activities, then let's work together now with Cloud App Security and Azure AD Identity Protection and do something better. So we show the attack kill chain for the on-prem. Cloud App Security and Azure AD Identity Protection will give us by far more information about compromised sessions, such as users with leaked credentials coming from Azure AD Identity Protection, and all the way to malicious use of privileged users, such as cloud impersonations and impersonation activities. And now when we combine the on-prem alerts and the cloud alerts, we give you the ability to actually have experience to investigate alerts and activities at the hybrid organization. So in this alert queue, you can actually see what happened from cloud and from on-prem. If we investigate user activities, I can hunt what Tali or what Eyal has been doing over the past 7 days, not just on cloud and not just about on-prem, but all together. So if I will filter and I'm looking for Tali's login activities, it will be every login. Login to cloud applications, login to interactive login to the computer, login to SMB server on-prem, or login through remote desktop application to another server. And all of these will be here together. Based on those activities, we can actually also create our own policies. So if there is something that I don't bring and you would like to see because you have the speciality of, hey, let's look at that server because it's super unique, super high value assets, and let's see who's doing something on that. Based on those activities, we can create some policies as well. So the last topic, as time runs super quickly, is about responding. And many times, and even this week, people are coming to me in our booth and asking, hey, Tali, hey, Eyal, when are you going to give teeth to Azure ATP? So I really like this expression about the teeth, and we're starting doing that. So if you're working with Azure AD conditional access, there is a policy for high-risk users. And what this policy means, so I see many people nod, this policy means that I can actually trigger an action on users which are now marked as high risk. This could be disable the user, this could be require multi-factor authentication or require the user to change password. This could be, for example, block the user the next time they are trying to connect to something. But think about that many times as a reactive approach, right? As a policy that we build. So starting today, we're also introducing the ability to trigger this approach reactively, not proactive, sorry, reactively from the Azure ATP and Cloud App Security consoles. So if I'm investigating right now Tali, and I get into the conclusion that Tali is compromised, I can just trigger a high-risk policy in Azure Active Directory that will immediately put in effect those controls that we set. And then people are asking me about the ID. So as of today, if you have password write-back policy, that will go all the way back to Azure Active Directory and, for example, can disable the user. If you'll have some more thoughts about what we can do more in that, after this session, Tali and I would love to hear more thoughts about it. But this is what we're doing with conditional access elements. So let's see a bit more about how we're doing in these areas by Tali.
We'll start from looking at the alerts, how you can detect things using Azure ATP. So I promised you I will share more why we are looking at cloud app security. In the last year, we were working very, very hard in unifying all the different identity security products into one place. So you have one place to investigate identities across cloud and on-premise. We chose Cloud App Security to be this portal because we believe it provides the best functionalities required for investigation. So as Eyal mentioned, in the alerts queue, you can see different alerts coming from Active Directory, which is Azure ATP, and different cloud applications like Office 365 and OneDrive. If you would like to see Azure ATP alerts, you can filter by application Active Directory. All Azure ATP data inside this portal is represented as Active Directory because this is where the data is coming from. As a security analyst, you don't mind which product or engine triggered the alert, but what is the context of the alert and what is the data source. So let's look for the high severity alerts. We can see two alerts, pass the ticket and DCSync attack. Let's start with the pass the ticket attack. Who heard about pass the ticket? Okay, I will explain in one sentence. Pass the ticket is a technique to move laterally in your network. When attackers is taking user CareBoss ticket from one device to another and accessing the resources in the organization on behalf of this user. We can see here an example of Nick. You can see here below the alert title all the different entities involved in the alerts and their role. We can see that Nick is the account in question. Nick laptop is the source device the ticket was taken from. And victim PC is the destination device where the attacker used the ticket. In the description, you will understand what happened, that an actor took Nick Kerber's ticket from Nick laptop and used it on victim PC to access 3 resources. You can click on the 3 resources, and you will get a list of all the resources in the on-prem that were accessed. In the important information section, we are giving you more evidence about what happened and additional information that can help you as part of the investigation. So we saw that 3 resources were accessed. If you will click here, you will see more details like the exact time and the source IP. And below, we can see that Nick was not recently accessed these 3 resources. In addition to that, Nick was not previously logged on to victim PC. It just makes this alert even more suspicious. In the user table, you can see all the involved users in the alert. In this case, it's just Nick. Let's go back to the second alert. Domain controller sync attack. Who heard about DCSync attack? Okay, less. So there is a process in the organization that domain controllers are synchronizing. They are doing replication. So one domain controller is replicating data from the second domain controller, so they will always be at sync. In this attack, the attacker has to have high privileges in the organization with replication permissions. So the attacker can use this benign process that happens between domain controllers to his own needs. It can replicate and actually copy data from your Active Directory into the attacker on device, like all your users' passwords hash. and we are able to detect it. As you can see here, Nick made 2 replication requests from Nick laptop against Contoso DC, and Nick laptop is not a domain controller in the organization. In the activity log section, you will get all the relevant activities of this alert. In the description, you saw 2 replication requests. In the activity log, you can actually see these 2 replication requests. And here we can see that there was a directory service replication, and it was successful. If you would like to better understand our alerts, we know that sometimes it can be complicated to investigate. You can click here and learn more about this alert, and you will be directed to our documentation. In the documentation, you will understand what is this attack and how you should investigate it, how you can classify that this alert is true positive or false positive, how you can understand the scope of the breach, and which remediation and prevention actions you should take. Once you investigated the alert, you can classify if it was false positive or true positive, and just close it. You can resolve. Let's assume that this alert is a true positive, and then you will get this box. And please share with us your feedback. We are getting your feedback directly to our emails, and we are responding every day to your feedback. Thanks to you, we are improving our detections and make it better. So please keep doing it, and don't forget to check this box. So we saw 2 different alerts on Nick. It looks like that's something suspicious with Nick credentials. We can go to Nick user page by just clicking on Nick to better understand what is Nick doing in above of these alerts. We can see here that Nick has an investigation priority of 122. And if you would like to hear more about investigation priority, please join us to the next session, BRK2127. Here we got the timeline where you can see all the different alerts and activities that Nick made in the last 7 days. We can see that there were some activities in the on-prem that got scored, +9 score. It means that they are suspicious, but you would like to understand why. So you can click on the +9 and understand this is the first time that Nick is accessing this specific resource, and only 1 active user in the tenant accessed this resource in the last 7 days. So we can quickly understand that Nick was active in two different alerts. In addition to that, Nick made some suspicious activities, and we would like to take action. We would like to respond. You can see here that currently, Nick has no risk level in Azure AD Identity Protection, and you would like to change it to high. You can easily do it by clicking on the user actions, confirm user compromise. Let's try and do that. And it is taking action. And what we will see in a few minutes is that Nick risk level will become high. OK, it is completed successfully. Let's refresh. Once Nick risk level is high, all the conditional access policies you configured will be applied on Nick. Oh, didn't synchronize yet. OK.
We'll give it another try, another second.
Yes.
So we have another moment for maybe a couple of more questions. The meanwhile, till we see that it refreshes to high. Is there another question about what we've seen so far? What is the future of the portal that Azure? What is the future? So what is the future? So I think that this is a good segue for us to continue and maybe see the next slide. So we are actually understanding today that working together with the cloud app security is really better together. Now, we'll see that in the last slide. It doesn't mean that you need to own or to use or even to license cloud app security in order to enjoy from all of those benefits that we're having in the cloud app security portal. So over time, you're going to see less and less and less experiences in the Azure ATP portal. It will be more around sensor configuration and more about the health alerts, while all of the security operations activities will fall into the cloud app security. What makes this question even a bit more interesting is that Azure ATP is fully a part of the Microsoft Threat Protection experience. So if we talked a bit before about Azure ATP and how it completes together with Cloud App Security and Azure AD Identity Protection the identity scope, then now think about adding Defender ATP, who brings endpoint protection, Office ATP, who brings Secure Mail Gateway. Together with them, we're bringing Microsoft Threat Protection, and looking forward, you'll see that this is the best console experience for you. So we're going here in stages today. Tali and I recommend you to work with this console on Cloud App Security. Again, even if you're not a Cloud App Security user, it's okay. So we're going to show that actually in 2 slides. We have time for maybe another question. I hope that it answers your question. So yes, from the side over there.
Yeah,
Either.
I like the way you're consolidating all these things, but how about reporting and dashboarding, and because I need to report maybe to the CIO, the board about different activities and things that we've resolved.
Okay. Question about reporting, dashboarding, showing some activities. So we are currently not investing or looking into the specific area of reporting and dashboarding of activities. We can have a discussion about, for example, how you are leveraging Sentinel, our SIEM, to do better reporting over there with the workbooks that we are having there. Some of our customers are working with other applications. Could be like a ticket management application to do better reporting over there. At the end of the day, most of the times when I'm talking to you and we're talking to you, we see that these are a bit less critical because you're having probably other solutions for that. And this is why this is not the top investment for us. We believe that we can give far more value with the detection element. So we'll take some actions.
So if you're already using Azure ATP, you can easily go to Cloud App Security portal, the settings section, Azure ATP, and just enable the integration. Once you will enable the integration, all Azure ATP data will be available inside Cloud App Security, and you will benefit from all the different features we just talked about today. You don't need to have Cloud App Security license to do that. Azure ATP license is enough. If you're not using Azure ATP, we warmly recommend you to watch our webinar series at AKMS AATP recordings. You can start from the detections recording part 1 and part 2. Then you will be able to plan your deployment and start using Azure ATP.
All right. So are there any people here in this room who have already integrated the Cloud App Security and Azure ATP consoles experience? Yeah? All right. It's a nice number. Can we say again how to do it for everybody who haven't seen that? And what we're doing is that for everybody who haven't seen that, here's some homework for us to do. So what we're doing is that, again, even if you're using Cloud App Security or not, you can just launch the Cloud App Security portal. And under there in settings, there is Azure ATP, and then there is this checkbox item says, I would like to have Azure ATP data into Cloud App Security. By the way, into the upcoming weeks, we are going to do this onboarding automatically for all of the tenants where the Azure ATP and the Cloud App Security compliance region is the same. Otherwise, due for compliance reasons, you'll need to do it. And we really, really hope that you're going to enjoy that. So with that, Tali and I would like to thank you so much for coming here and spending the last 45 minutes with us. We really hope that this session was super effective, that you learned at least one new thing, and hope that you enjoyed. And join us to the second session today. Thank you.
Thank you.